Hello friends, welcome to the AdoreKnit Podcast, episode 8. I'm just tired. Today I'm going to have a little bit of chatter, some works in progress, a finished object, a throwback / UFO, the orange along, we're going to talk a little bit about that, some shop talk, life update, and then what I've been reading. So let's jump right in. The first thing, works in progress. First up, I have my spring cleaning shawl, I'm showing you the back, by Stephen West. So this is a great scrap project for sure. I mean, that's what he intended it to be. Mindless garter, super easy rows. You know, once you do the first row, you know what to do. And I think it's going to make a really interesting shape for the shawl. Overall, you can see I wanted to get section 6. I think actually I'm doing 7 before 6, if I'm being technical, but I wanted to do this side first. I wanted to get this section done, but I'm clearly not there yet. So, and it was more important for me to record and get this to you than to push this back some more, because I've already pushed it back trying to get my F out for the week. So, the pattern's by Stephen West. It is, I don't know how much it is on Ravelry. Not very expensive, because I'm not an expensive pattern buyer normally. So, and I love the shape. I think it's going to be beautiful. The self-striping yarn is Fiber Nymph Dye Works. This is Inspiration Dye Works here. The gray is Pewter by Miss Babs Yarn, and the green is Swamp Thing. So the next section, I've taken it out. Oh, and the red is Fiber Nymph as well. I don't know the name of it. And this side over here, I had initially planned to do a really bright teal color, because teal's my favorite color. Aqua, if you will. But then I had second thoughts about it, but now as I knit more of this and realize that it's not the exact, it's definitely not. This is a spruce green, and this doesn't even have spruce green in it. So it's not a perfect match. Yeah, maybe I need to put it on a longer cable, and when this section is done, try it on and just see when it's wrapped what portion of the shawl will be next to that leg, because it's a crescent shape or a triangle shape, something like that, just to help me match, because it's either going to be in my head right now what I'm envisioning, because I have some very brightly colored shawls, but I don't wear them, so I don't want to go too crazy, and I feel like this lime green is small enough that it's not too crazy. It's a good accent, so I may just do the So Scrooged for the other leg, but I don't know. I think stripes are cool when they bump up against each other at odd angles, which is what I was trying to accomplish with, you know, like these stripes go this direction and these stripes go a different direction. I can't see, so I can't tell you right now. But, yeah, so the stripes out of this section would go a different, direction than those two. So maybe it would be cool. I don't know. I'm definitely not spring cleaning. Although I have done a bit of cleaning around the house, but yeah. So this is fun. It's going to be a, 700 yard shawl. So I have a hair stuck to my lip, sorry. I probably have 300 yards to go. So it's not done. It's nowhere near done. Maybe I'll be realistic and set myself the goal of getting through section 7 and then going back to 6, like getting 7 done for the next week. That seems reasonable, especially because these 2 sections are the really large sections when you look at the pattern overall. So that is my work in progress. Yeah, I'm gonna save my sweater to talk about during the orange along, and I'm gonna show you a finished object now. So it was touch and go, as you can see from these videos. Hey guys, it's June 25th, I think, and I am rushing. I'm working my little fingers to the bone because I'm really nervous. I'm not going to finish my socks. So I thought I would record this now so we'd have a little bit of drama and you could see how I go along. So this is one. I'm working the heel, my favorite part of a sock. And here is the other one. I've already done the heel, and I know it doesn't seem like a lot of yarn of knitting, but the way my knitting goes, they're like, for me not to knit for 4 days wouldn't be unusual. So I'm like, oh, I gotta get these done because 30 days has September, April, June. I don't know, but I think it's a 30-day month. So I'm working on my DVD socks. This is my general toe up, my vanilla sock that I do all the time. It's a Wendy Johnson pattern, and yeah, so I love it. And the colorway is Lighthouse. So beautiful. Don't you love that? Yeah. All right. We'll see.
So he turned around. He was punching backwards. That's the cool thing. So now he's gonna be punching forwards. Well, look it. He just did one punch and slapped him right here.
For a second. So I was really worried, and yesterday I thankfully put in about 7 hours of knitting on this sock. It's pretty much all I did all day and night. So I turned the heel, I got up the leg, I have my 4 inches, I did 1 by 1 rib at the top as I do, and there were so many ends you don't even know because I was using the leftover bits. But it's okay. And for this one, I have already turned the heel and I'm working my way up the leg. So I've got about 2 inches to go. Yay! It's the 26th. It's Wednesday and we have phonics tonight, so I'll get 20 minutes of knitting in there, not a lot. But right now, Tristan is putting on a puppet show and I'm watching him knitting. So back to that show. So earlier this week, I was extremely nervous. I'm not a procrastinator. Procrastination increases my stress level. And so I've partaked in the DVD Sock of the Month Club, Desert Vista Dye Works. She does a knit along. I've done it for this will be my 3rd pair. Yeah, I think. 4th. Anyways, I haven't done it all year. And honestly, if it turns into something that gives me stress like it has this last week, then I'm not going to do it. Then I'm just going to call it quits. So I have to remember that when I think about doing it again next year, because this year I started late. So I'm definitely not going to get the 12-month prize gain, but I'm just doing it for the encouragement. And having a goal helps me work through my stash. So you can see my 2 dangling progress keepers. There, now you can see that one. Those are where I was last time on my podcast. And due to my stress about these socks, which is ridiculous, it's just knitting. And even though I told myself that several times, I still couldn't put it in the right place in my life. Couldn't put it in a box and just close the drawer and say, yeah, I want to get those socks done. And if I do, it's okay. But anyways, yeah, so I spent a good 7 hours on Monday zipping through this one. And then once I realized that I could breathe and it wasn't going to be a mad dash to the 30th, I slowed down a little bit and finished this last bit of cuff this morning. So they are the desired length. They are a mass of ends on the inside. And they do fit my giganto feet. So I used to wear a size 11 shoe, but I feel like, especially after my second son or the last couple years, I'm gravitating more towards 12s. I think it's a 43 or 44 in, what shoes do I wear that are that measurement? I'm totally blanking on my favorite shoes. Not Danskos. Used to wear Danskos. Maybe Danskos. I have the clogs, the Stegman clogs that are Anyways, I'm gonna put these on because they're new when I want to, and it's a rainy, dreary day outside. So let's talk about the Throwback project. So I initially created this segment as a chance to talk about projects I had knit previously and how they have worn over time. You know, everybody loves seeing finished objects. I know that, you know that, but it's nice to hear a review that encapsulates what has happened since it came off the needles. So that was my initial intention for Throwback, but the last week and this week for Throwback are unfinished projects, so I can't give you any sense of how they wear. Holy cow, who knits a black sweater? Oh my goodness. So this week's Throwback is the Whisper Tee by Vera Vacamali. I used Felici Sport in the color monochrome for the striping at the bottom and the gradient at the top, and I really enjoyed knitting that part. I used Stroll Sport in black Knit Picks. Those are both Knit Picks yarns, so it was a very cost-effective little summer tank t-shirt for me to make. It is wool and it's sport weight, so I don't know if, I think the pattern was written for fingering weight and I chose to use sport weight, so it is a little bit heavier, a little bit warmer. I've actually never worn this, and it's listed on my project page as hibernating with 5% to go and no notes as to what that 5% is. Now that I'm looking at it and all of its cat-hairedness, I think, oh, and I knit this back July to November of 2017. So this is one of my my November bags that I like to use in November. So it's been in here and I'd like to reclaim this bag that has a stitch marker on it. Anyways, so looking at it and guessing what I needed to do, I think I needed to sew the two sides of the little cap sleeve together. Hey, talking about gradient sleeves, do you see my sunburn gradient? I feel like I did a bad job changing my skein. Because every time I go outside with a t-shirt on, I seem to get a little darker. I have olive-y skin, thankfully, so I don't burn very often, if ever. It takes a long time, so I know I should wear sunscreen, but I don't always. So anyways, so it looks like I need to sew those and then weave an end. So I'm gonna put this as I'm gonna try and do this week and wear it on next week's episode. Wouldn't that be fun? I think it would. So here it is. The sizing will definitely be a little looser, but that's okay. If you were wondering, I am now down 53 pounds in 4 months and completely healthy in my weight loss. My doctor signed off on it. I am eating vegetarian keto or keto diet, but with a vegetarian twist on it, and I can't believe how quickly I've lost the weight and how much better I feel. So just a little, you can do this too if you want, if you so choose. So there's that. So next time I'm going to be wearing this. That's the goal. Okay, orange along. Are you knitting something orange? Really, I'm super open and a little bit of orange is fine. I know orange is not the most popular color. So I'm planning to cast on my next pair of socks, car socks, with this. I probably won't get them done by August, but it's got orange and that's my goal. So the orange along goes until August 1st. Anything you're knitting with orange in it, post pictures, gets you an entry. Chatter gets you an entry. Use one of the AdoreKnit progress keepers or stitch markers in your photo and get 2 entries. Finished objects get 3 entries. I'm trying to make it really friendly. Really, everybody get in. So personally, I have been working on my Sunset Highway, which I showed last week, and this is all I'm going to show you right now. Looks like 3 rows. I did 3 rows, and that's it this week. So not a lot of progress there. This is an orangey brown color, and so it's counting. It counts. So maybe I'm gonna move my keeper right now because I tend to forget these things, and then I don't know. There, okay, I just hooked it on the needle, and I'll catch it next time around. But I did want to show you something. Oh, yes. I was watching, is it Wool Patch? I'm not sure. I'll tell you what podcast I was watching. It's really fun. It's a British podcast, and two relatively new knitters on it, and they were discussing small circumference and magic looping. And magic loop is great. You can use it everywhere, but there is a sense of wasted time when you're maneuvering your needles from, you know, making sure you have the right amount of cord on this side and this side to complete your magic loop, and the flipping, right? And if you're doing a sleeve, you're going to be flipping a lot, and it gets tedious. The thing you also could do is called a traveling loop. I'm not sure if you've heard of this before. It's very simple. So you have your knitting, you push it all the way, push it on your cable, bunch it up the way you would like it so it's nice and tight and the stitches are ready to come up and be knit. And then you have this extra bit of cable. You just go like that, loop it, and you knit around. And as you go around, that space will work itself around, and so you'll have the cable loop. It will work all the way around up to here, to the opposite side, back onto the end of your left needle, back to the end of your left needle, and then you just pull it out and you go around again. And I find it very efficient, very much more manageable than magic loop on a small circumference item. I also find that the smaller the tips are, the easier it is to do. If you have long tips, they can get in the way sometimes of doing those smaller circumference things, like the wrist of something. So just a thought, I wanted to throw it out there that, you know, it can be a little bit faster than magic loop to do things that way. Thankfully, this sweater has enough stitches, and my cable is a good length that I just do a little bit of smushing stitches over every round, but I don't need to use either of those techniques, but I could if I wanted to. So next up is a shop update. So we went live with these actually on Friday, but we haven't sold out of any of them. So if you're interested, you could still make your way over to the shop, which is AdoreKnit.etsy.com. And you could purchase. Right now we are running, I think I will have said this in the video, but I'm going to say it again just to be clear. We are running free shipping on orders of $20 or more, and international free shipping on orders of $35 or more. So if you're international and you want in, come on in. And here we go with the refreshing summer and Harry Potter update. First up, 4th of July for the United States, we have these flip-flops with rhinestones and red, white, and blue markers. Nice green tea frappuccino, so refreshing. We took that guy and we paired him with some great chartreuse and black and silver rings. Popsicles. The hot cocoa has been one of our all-time best marker sets, and so we expanded on that and added in a teal/aqua colorway. Knit fast and dye warm, you've seen it before, but now we've changed the beads. Harry Potter, they were coming, you knew it, here they are. First up is Ron with the chest set from Sorcerer's Stone. These are all inspired by Sorcerer's Stone. And here's Harry with his first broom with matte finished beads. And then lastly, Hermione with a book. But if you didn't like the first Ron, there's also a second Ron option because we couldn't make up our mind. So all three of these have matte beads. And then the Emma books have been restocked in the store. Thanks for watching. Remember, free shipping on orders over $40 everywhere and over $20 US. And I don't know if you could see her, but my girl just came over for loves. All right, so moving into life. And books. Let's just talk about books. I don't really have anything exciting to share about life right now. I'm savoring the days. I have 5 days left of one-on-one time with Tristan before both he and Roland are home together for the summer. And this week we went to a puppet show, and what are we doing Friday? Something at the farm. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. So I'm just enjoying my time with him. He's turning into such a fun little person. He's always been a happy guy, but he's funny, and I'm enjoying my time with him, which is nice because I maybe didn't enjoy so much some of the younger stages. Okay, so this week I read A Study in Scarlet Women, which is the first book in the Lady Sherlock series by Sherry Thomas. I was completely captivated by this book. It scratched an itch I have for historical fiction. I really enjoy period pieces. This was set in, I think, Victorian times, turn of the 19th century. I think that's how you say it, 1800s. Anyways, yeah, very likable characters. It was fun to see how she twisted the traditional Holmes, Watson, Moriarty, what's his brother's name? Something Craft. It's Minecraft? No, that's a game. Anyways. Yeah, so I really enjoyed listening to that. And so then I started, based on Kalisha of Quirky Mondays, Craftcast. She recommended this book, and I recommend her podcast if you're looking for something with more than just knitting. She does multiple crafts. She spins, she does weavings and wall hangings and just really cool stuff with fiber and other things with paper, different mediums. Anyways, so she's a great podcast to go watch. But she recommended the book Children of Bone and Blood, and I trust her, so I started listening to it because her recommendation was based on it being very emotional, both ends of the spectrum, that she just felt all these emotions, and I would agree. It is a book about oppression, and it's set in a fictional Africa, I would say, with magic and fictional animals, but there's also a great divide in the culture. So between two halves, and yeah, I believe there's going to be a love triangle coming out of this, but also it's, the struggle for survival for the oppressed. So it's definitely not super lighthearted, but it does remind me a little bit of Lee Bordugo's, what was that, Shadow and Bone? That series that I just read that was set in a fictional type Russia. This is similar in the world that has been created, but the narrator is really good, and I am very captivated by it as well. So that's great to have those two things. The other book I'm reading, I'm not captivated by. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I am a big sci-fi fantasy person. How to awkwardly categorize yourself. Anyways, so I love Stephen King, and I love a good medieval tale. And I love space, and I go in for all of it, right? Is there anything in the fantasy / sci-fi section I don't like? No. Just not really technical sci-fi, but anyways. So one of the classics of that genre is the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, right? I know lots of people that have read and loved them. And so I'm on book 11. The series is insanely long, and each book is 40 to 60 hours long, so they're definitely slow going. There's a group of very lovable main characters that have thought of for about 10 years as my kids, because I'm extremely invested into what happens to my kids. But his world creation involves lots of different languages and lands and characters that I don't so much care about. So it's it's something I'm really dedicated to at the center, but then there's all this other outside fluff that I could do with a lot less of it. So book 9 and 10, I would say, were both struggles that I made them through. Yeah, it's like there's a little thread that I want to know what happens, and I guess I could read a plot synopsis and then I would know, but I also want the sense of accomplishment of finishing the series. Brandon Sanderson took over at some point writing these with the help of Jordan's wife because he passed away during the series, so I haven't even gotten up to I think Sanderson wrote 2 or 3 of the books. I haven't even gotten to those yet, so I want to give it, I need to push through this to get to him to see if he makes it a little more, a little less flowery around the edges and a little more focused in on the 7 characters that I deeply love from the first few books. But good news, I don't know if it was Amazon or HBO. I'll tag it here. If you are a fan of Wheel of Time, they are going to make a mini-series out of it, I believe. Rosamund, what's her name? That really pretty lady that was on Gone Girl? Is that what it's called? Man, my brain is Swiss cheese today. Anyways, trying to think of what else she's on. She's a great actress. So she's going to play Moraine, which is a heartbreaking and deeply loved character from the series. So that's really exciting. They did a great job casting her in that part. So can't wait to see who else they cast. So I need to get through this book. And I'm like an hour in out of 40. If I just do a little bit each day, I'll eventually get there. So I'm working my way through that. So those are the books I'm reading right now. And I did finish season 2 of Medici on Netflix. If you like historical fiction, if you liked Rome, or what else is similar? I don't know, Swiss cheese brain. Anyways, historical fiction. You would really enjoy this. It is the Medicis, obviously, of Florence, and the Renaissance, and famous paintings, and painters, and politics, and love, of course, and like political marriages, and the Pope, and it's just great. It's really interesting, and I know that it is sad, though, because the first season has Richard Madden, who is Robb Stark, and he was in The Bodyguard, Robb Stark's from Game of Thrones, but The Bodyguard is also excellent on Netflix. So he's in the first season, as is Dustin Hoffman, which is why I initially watched it, and I love them. And then the second season starts off, you don't even see him, and you've moved forward in time to the next influential Medici, who is, I think, his grandson. And at first I was like, I don't want to watch this, but he grew on me, and I really liked his character by the end. So, and what's his name? For season 2, Sean Bean is in it. Bean, with an N, from Game of Thrones, who was Ned Stark, and lots and lots of other movies. And the first movie I think I saw him in was GoldenEye as 006 against Pierce Brosnan. So, see, I remember weird things like that, but not Rosamund. I just read it last week. Anyways, okay, so that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you're filled with happiness, because that's my goal in recording these. So enjoy what's going on in your knitting world. I will see you in about 10 days or so, or less. Take care. Bye, y'all.